These are the locations of membranes in the thoracic and abdominal pelvic cavities. The thoracic and abdominal pelvic cavities, there are two different cavities located in the dorsal cavity. So it is split up. The thoracic cavity are those that house our lungs, and while the abdominal pelvic cavity, uh, that cavity is also broken up into two other cavities, the abdominal and the pelvic cavity. Starting off with the first membrane, the pleural membrane. The location of this membrane is in the thoracic cavity, which is the cavity that's superior to the abdomen. This membrane is broken up into two layers. The inner layer is called the visceral pleura, which is directly touching the lungs. We know this because any layer associated with the word viscera, that means it covers the organs, it is directly touching the organs. And the parietal pleura is the outer layer membrane, which is around the chest wall. This is the one, we know this also because any layer associated with parietal is the one that is around the cavity. The second membrane is in the thoracic and abdominal pelvic cavity is the pericardial membrane. The location of this membrane is in the thoracic cavity, um, specifically located in the heart. This membrane is also broken up into two layers. The inner one is the visceral pericardium, which is directly touching the heart, and the parietal pericardium is the outer layer membrane, which is around the heart wall. As we could see in the picture, the pericardial cavity is separating the visceral and the parietal pericardium. The parietal is always outside, and the viscera is always touching the organ, which is the heart. The last membrane that is located in thoracic and abdominal pelvic cavity is the peritoneal, the peritoneum membrane. This membrane is actually located in the abdominal pelvic cavity, which is the cavity that is inferior to the thoracic. This membrane is also inferior to the two other serous membranes that we were talking about, the pleura and the pericardium. This This membrane located in the abdominal pelvic cavity helps supports the organs contained in the abdominal pelvic cavity, such as the stomach and kidneys and the intestines and so on. It is also broken up into two layers, the peritoneum membrane. The outer layer is the outer layer surrounding the abdomen wall, and the visceral peritoneum is a membrane that wraps around the abdomen organs, which are the ones that I mentioned, the stomach, kidneys, intestines. It can include the liver, the spleen, all those intestines in the abdomen. So therefore, the thoracic and abdominal pelvic cavities it's consistent of three serous membranes, those in the lungs, the heart, and the abdomen.